Hi guys, it's Brittany with the Crafting Spot, and for today's tutorial we'll go over the basics of tracing and touch on layering. We can discuss it in detail in future videos, but this will give you the tools you need to begin, so let's get started. Alright, we'll start with the basic coloring sheet. These are the easiest to trace and to layer because of the thick lines. So let's open up the trace panel. It's the fifth icon on the right and it looks like a butterfly. Click Select Trace Area and draw a box around your picture. It should turn yellow right away. You'll notice that there are a few blank spots, so we'll use the threshold slider to adjust it. Taking it too far to the right will create a complete yellow box. Too far to the left and you have no color at all. So we'll slide it slowly to get the right coverage. When you have it where you want it, click Trace. Now your trace is done. You can move the coloring page. If you click the trace and add color to it, it should look just like the original. Now there are multiple ways to do this next step. I'll show you the way I learned and you can adjust as you learn the software. I'll remove the color, right click and click Release Compound Path. This will break the design apart and allow you to color it all in just like a paint by numbers. As you can see, it went from one box around the whole design to boxes around each piece. Now, I'll speed through this next part, but essentially you just click each section and add color. The last part that I color in is the bottom layer or the black outline. Oops, it looks like I missed a few spots, so let's correct it. Notice the spot behind her leg is black, but should be clear. To fix it, hold Shift, click the opening and the entire outline. Right click and select Make Compound Path. This makes it clear. I try to make as few layers as possible, so I'll do the same thing with her nose. Instead of layering black on top of the white, I'll cut the nose shape out of the white and let the bottom layer show through. From here, I'll just double check to make sure that everything is colored in, and when I'm done, I will add the black background back to the design. Once everything looks good, I'll go ahead and add the black background back to it. Now I may bring it to front, I'll just select it, right click and send it to back and it'll put it back in place. But notice that that opening is there now where it wasn't before. And as I mentioned before, I'm going to fix her nose. So select the nose, the black background, right click, make compound path, and that'll put a hole in the white to let the bottom layer show through. Next, I'll group the colors together. Select all four hooves, right click, and select group. And then do the same thing with the body. You'll have to add the legs to the main portion of the body. The hooves and the body are large enough, but the mane and tail may be an issue, so let's learn a new feature. At the top of the screen, we're going to click Select by Color. It's the color palette with a selection box around it. Click that and a window will pop up. Next, click by Fill, and this shows all of the colors in your design. When you select a color from the Select by Color box, it will select all of those items in your design that are that color. Once you've done that, right click and group them together, and then you can move them apart. I personally don't like to waste materials, so I'm going to group them in smaller groups. Instead of grouping the entire mane together, I'll group it in smaller groups so that I can put it on my mat to cut. Once you're done with that color, you move on to the next color and continue to do the same thing with all the colors in the design until you're done. Now you notice there are a few stray pieces in the design where the trace wasn't necessarily clean. I don't need those pieces. So now that I moved everything out of the way, I'll go ahead and select them all and click delete, and they're gone. At this point, we've broken the design apart and all the colors are grouped together. So to cut them, you can move everything off the mat and then place each color on as you put that color vinyl or HTV onto your mat. Once it's cut, you'll just piece it back together like a puzzle. And you can use these same steps whether you're using adhesive vinyl, cardstock, or HTV. There are other steps to making the design more complex, to cleaning it up a little bit, but this is all of the basic information that you need to do a trace and then to get a layered design ready to cut. Now, if you wanted the design to face the opposite direction, or if you wanted to mirror it, you wanted to put it on a shirt, you can just select everything, right click, and flip it horizontally. I'll do another video to show you how to actually cut the materials, and I'll do a video to show you how to press it. But for now, you've got the basics. As always, thank you for joining us.